we live?
Oh.
Oh.
Yes, we are. The O was to that guy. Righty then. Ace Ventura. Ace Ventura. Noise. One time I did this. Was that you when this like fell? When this thing like exploded off? Like my camera, like was clipped in, and then all of a sudden it flew off and coffee went everywhere.
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember if that was like the solo day or the co-op modes. All right, welcome back, Glad You Game Pod. Wait, I gotta put the thing on. They can hear us though.
All right, all right. Any become famous things yet?
No, we're still.
No, still not famous.
Damn. Those bastards. All right. Oh, righty then. Oh, yeah. So I just got to put this off of don't show non-video participantes. Bang. All right. There we go. Looking good. Looks like we got it. If you're in the chat, say hi. Oh, all these. Yes, we are Visor Gang people. Again, stop it. It's the most commented thing on here. Hashtag Visor Game. Hashtag JBaby.
So many comments.
Yeah, so many comments. So, all right, we'll do one quick update. That's, I was going to say slightly serious, but so Activision Blizzard, the Blizzard president, J. Allen Brock, basically sent out an email saying, oh, wait, never mind. That was the original email. Hold on. He stepped down. He's stepped down from his position.
He gone.
Steps down.
Yeah, the two vice presidents are becoming like
the co-leaders.
CEOs, yeah.
Yeah, so all the members, they basically sent out an internal email letting everybody know. So Jen and Mike are taking over. J. Allen Brock will be stepping down as the leader of the studio. Jen O'Neill and Mike Ybarra will co-lead Blizzard moving forward.
All right, all right.
Mike was on the Xbox team, I guess, and then also helped oversee Battle.net. And then Jen, it was the executive vice president of development, where she's been providing senior development leadership and support to Diablo and Overwatch franchises. Pretty cool stuff. That's it. It just doesn't say anything else about, Brock. It just says he's going on to like other ventures. So that's that. All right. Now, speaking of Overwatch and Diablo, let's talk about Overwatch 2 and Diablo Immortal. Both were originally, we were going to hope come out soon or this year. It is confirmed Diablo Immortal has been delayed into the first half of 2022. So originally Diablo Immortal was going to come out this year, or targeted release, they said, to come out this year, but it has been pushed to Q1 2022, which is, we're seeing this a lot. I think a lot of this has to do with COVID. We're still seeing the impacts of COVID. Not that it's not there, but a lot of people are kind of getting back in the office, or we've now gotten used to the working virtually. Like the world has gotten understood it after a year.
Yeah.
So,
and I will say too, like even though it doesn't, it's pretty obvious if you look at it. It hasn't really registered for me yet that we are closer to 2022 than we are 2020.
I know. I really feel like 2019 hit like a pause, like obviously COVID, and then like 2020 and a lot of 2021. Like it feels like, I feel like the first real year since 2019 is going to be 2022.
Yeah.
To be fair, we were saying that in 2020 about 2021, but at least we do have a vaccine now. So like people are able to get back to normal.
Yep.
And it should only progress, the further that it just kind of works itself out. So anyways, So they've been delayed. I don't think we're going to start seeing a ton more additional delays. I think we're still seeing the impact of COVID, like I was saying, from 2020. Because I think in 2021, sorry, I'm like, my throat's all fucked up today. We are seeing a lot of impact. Like, we were seeing the big impact in 2020, but in 2021, I think a lot of people either A, got really used to working from home or in how to work with their team and upload the code and have to do their scrum meetings and stand-ups and all that shit and make sure the game's releasing on track. And Louis said this vaccine, regardless of your standpoint on it, it does help factually. And some people are back in the office now as a result. So they're able to kind of go back to that similar old routine, maybe like a hybrid of both.
Yeah.
So I think they're getting more standard work schedules and work days and deliveries without being like, oh, I can't, how the fuck do I upload this or whatever. All that's been worked out. So I don't think we're going to see a ton of delays happening towards the end of 2021, like during 2022 development for games that are targeted in 2022. I'm saying in 2023. This is just the impact of the 2019 and 2020 development cycle that we're still seeing. So it sucks. We're seeing it a lot, but I think it's really because majority of that and then a very tiny bit about Cyberpunk where they're like, first opinion's everything. Don't release unless it's not ready. Cyberpunk got destroyed. Granted, it's now finally ready, which is like a year and a half later or whatever. But I think that because of that impact, they're like, let's just delay it to better safe than sorry kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think it's both of those things, but I really do think majority of it is the COVID fact. It doesn't, the article I'm reading from IGN doesn't say this, or at least that I've read, but that's just my take from like working in the software industry. That's kind of thing. Like we're kind of just in this, you're kind of just in the focus vibe or whatever the fuck you call
and
it.
Like
Flow
things,
state.
yeah.
That's what it's called.
Right.
Focus vibe. That's
I like that.
yeah.
That's what the kids are calling it. Yeah, I'm like total focus vibe right now.
So vibing. That's a vibe. Delaying a game's a vibe. Anyways, Diablo Immortal is Q1 2022. Overwatch 2 has developed. Overwatch 2 development passed an important internal milestone in recent weeks. That was the update. And it's like, that's great. I don't know if it's great to tell it should be like, hey, that's basically to me an important internal milestone. It basically mean like, well, we said we'd be at this point in time at this date, and they pretty much just like hit their deadline. They're like, an important milestone is like, it's working now. We have an alpha build ready, and now we can kind of build off of that and maybe kind of go to a closed beta and things like that. That's how I would assume this is, but it literally is just an important internal milestone. So great. That's still not, I think that's like 2022, maybe even 2023 for Overwatch 2. But we'll see. And Diablo Immortal, I was actually looking forward to it a lot because I love the Diablo series. But it was very quiet for the last 4 or 5 months that it was kind of like, you kind of felt like, it's kind of like when Ragnarok got delayed, and Horizon. Because we're like, where's the Horizon release date? Give us the Horizon release date. And they're like, look at this thing. She's swimming. It's like, but it's like, all right, you did this 30-minute tech preview of it, but where's the release date?
When is it going to come
out? And they're so hesitant because I think they're like, unless we can 100% be like, we're nailing this release date, they're like, don't tell them until it's literally like what they did with the console release dates. So
yeah, there's somebody said
we're seeing a lot of stuff get delayed, and not just Activision Blizzard. Also, Amazon is in the game now, which you might not have known, but they're slightly in the game. Crucible failed, but New World is their big MMO RPG that some of you may have played because they had a closed beta. They sent out a bunch of copies over the last year, like 8 months to a year, and one just closed up last weekend. It was supposed to come out at the end of August. That has also been delayed, but not significantly, just till the end of September 28th.
Okay.
Specifically. They sent out a big community message. It's a bunch of corporate bullshit, but I'll read it really fast. We are humbled by the support New World received from players around the world throughout the closed beta. During beta, more than 1 million adventurers played more than 16 million total hours. Thanks for the support. New World became one of the most watched games on Twitch and one of the most played games on Steam. The passion and enthusiasm you've shown for New World validates the work you've put in it over the past year, improving the game based on your feedback. Along the way, you've also given us a ton of feedback that we'll use until I just realized I haven't cleared my throat once in this. I probably shouldn't have said that, but now I'm saying that. That's also, for the record, not part of Wasn't part of the PR narrative. Anyways, along the way, see, now I'm just making up for it. Along the way, you've also given us a ton of feedback that we'll use to make New World even better. We want New World's launch to be smooth and fun experience for all players, and that means making some improvements based off what you encountered during closed beta. So we're going to make a few extra weeks to smash bugs, improve stability, and polish the game. Oddly enough, if you don't understand context of English, because I read this earlier, you would have read Polish the game, which would have been a weird statement. Also, that wasn't part of the PR now. New World's new global launch date is September 28th, 2021. This is not an easy decision to make. We know this isn't the first time we change our launch date in pursuit of quality, and that can be disappointing to wait a bit longer, but we want to ensure the delivery is the highest quality of the game possible at launch. Thank you for your support and feedback. We're listening. We'll see you in Aeternum. Arternum. It's the world. It's Aeternum.
Arternum.
Whatever. We'll see you in the fucking game. You could have just said that, you asshole. So anyways, that, I mean, obviously it's getting up votes. We talked about this before. I'm happy. Delay it until it's good, but also don't give us the date until you're comfortable with it. Don't force a release date. Like this is not their first time pushing it back. I'm all for delaying games and making it right. Like, listen to developers. When you can accurately get the bugs done, get good QA, quality assurance on the product, and ensure, you know, a successful delivery. And then obviously you can add DLC and patches. But you need an MVP and not a most valuable player, a minimum viable product. That's what it's called. And for delivery. And it sounds like that's what they're getting with this. I guarantee, I don't have any notification on this, guarantee the devs have probably said September for a year now.
Yeah.
And
don't be like Hollister and sell an item that needs patches.
Yeah. Well, this is like what I said the other time. It's like, stop sucking their dick for delaying the game. They're doing it for 100% financial thing. That's it. The only reason why the management agreed on this is because they were like, well, we don't want to lose money like Cyberpunk did, and we don't want to get bad press. And this is Amazon's first big market game. Yes, they've had other games. Don't comment me on that. But this is their biggest step into it, where it's the largest opening, I think, or release they've had with the biggest like user base community that's actually like, let's fucking get on this.
Yeah.
So, which I'm one of them. I want to play this game bad. So I'm no problem waiting for September 28th. Take the time you need. Also, maybe just have a better person who estimates and understands the cycle, or trust the developers when they tell you we can't do that for 6 months, and you say, make it happen in 3. And they can't change physics of time and reality, and then it ends up still being 6 months. You just have 3 delayed releases, which, by the way, makes you look worse. I would rather just be like, we're going to do it here, and then we're actually going to do it there. Like, I've delayed stuff too. The most I've ever delayed something was 1 week. So, like, I get it, but, like, estimates, and don't tell me you can't estimate it. You can, but you just have to listen to your engineers and the ones who are estimated. And if they can't properly estimate it, maybe you
Might be a
need
bigger
better
problem.
engineers. Yeah. But anyways, that's all I'm trying to say. I'm sure they're great engineers. I just fucking hate that everybody always jumps on and like, yeah, I'm so proud. They're like, transparency. They're like, I'm so glad devs are now speaking up and being transparent. I was like, the devs weren't the problem. Stop fucking saying the devs. The management team, or if you want to use a generic term, like developer, if they mean like the company that's developing it, at least say publisher, because it's the publisher's demands when they release it, not the developers. Whatever. I washed it off. That was the wash off motion. It's been washed, been clean, cleansed, whatever.
Cleansed.
What have you? That was like super sexual. We're past. Also, this is the most up-to-date info on this as of Wednesday, August 4th. So we're doing this one a little early. Sage has a weekend trip to the lake, and we're going to also do probably next Wednesday, because I have a beach trip to the beach.
I'm glad you specified.
Yeah, well, I was going to say...
It'd be real weird if I was doing a beach trip to the lake and you were doing a lake trip to the beach.
It would, but you could have a beach at a lake. Like, you can have the sandy beach and stuff, because I didn't say ocean. Say there would be, you know, that's the difference. Because you can't have a beach at a lake. You can have a lake at a beach, or you can't have a lake at a beach, and you can have a beach at a lake. You can. It could have. Now that I'm thinking about it,
not all rectangles are squares, but all squares are rectangles.
Yeah, exactly. Except we just found it where it's both. It's cyclomatic right there.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, whatever. I just got off work before we started doing this, so it's like warming up into it. Normally we have a little precursor, wet the whistles.
I will say on the note of delays,
Let's talk them.
Sony apparently got a bunch of chips secured. And
Yeah, 12 million to guarantee their 22 million unit shipment by the end of the year.
Yep. So, yeah, that is good news.
Hell yeah.
With everything getting delayed, pushed back.
I don't know how they
it's
did
nice
that.
to see. Yeah, it sounds like they might have
They just like ripped them off from a Jeep or something. And they're like, we found them.
kneecapped a couple people and
Yeah.
like stole a suitcase full.
They just hijacked some like shipping container in transit. And they're like, oh yeah,
Tokyo or
that Suez Canal mix up. Don't worry, we got it taken care of.
Fast and Furious was a documentary. That's
For Sony at least, yeah. That'd be hilarious if it was actually like published by Sony. And then they're like, yeah, in the end, it's like we own all rights to use these ideas if need be.
yeah.
To secure PS5 parts.
Yeah. What was the movie that they
It's about family.
They like rescue all the people, the diplomats,
rescuers?
by pretending to shoot a movie.
Oh,
Argo.
Argo.
Yeah.
Fuck yourself.
They argoed it.
They Argo the semiconductors.
They're like, we're shooting a movie. We're going to use this trailer. Oh, where'd it go?
They're like, we're in Japan. We like China's like, we know what you're here for. Like, unless you're Disney, you're not filming a movie here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move from that. Let's talk about something I think is funny, but also important: the Fruitgate. Okay, Halo's fruit issue. Now,
Go on.
Halo Infinite's getting blasted online for this video. Like, there's 1.2 million views as of right now on this video. They had the tech preview, and this guy is shooting fruit, and the fruit just kind of like explodes, and the acid just disappears. And it's like terrible fruit physics. It's like not realistic. They evaporate completely. It makes no sense. So all the Xbox people are like, we're caring about shooting each other and stuff. Who gives a shit about fruit? And it's like, and then PlayStation people are obviously, or like Switch or whoever, are like giving shit about it. And the developers are also on this, retweeting and dunking on it, saying this is terrible. Some say, let's care about the shooting. All that shit. I get it all. Also, for the record, the Xbox people are like, whatever, we care. I'm like, they would be doing 1,000. If this was like Last of Us, like an exclusive to the PlayStation, they'd be doing the same shit if someone took a video of fruit, which, by the way, someone did. And the fruit physics in that is like 100% realistic. The fruit fall. And that was the other thing. They started showing videos of like Call of Duty. Well, it actually matched up with 2019 Call of Duty, which fruit physics and gun physics are perfect. Because the other part is Infinite's also reusing the sounds from Halo 5. All the gun sounds and a lot of the assets are the same ones. So they kind of don't like fit perfectly, and it kind of sounds like not as well done. It's like the game is $500 million. You can't re-record any of this shit or record new ones.
Yeah.
And it's like that's kind of where they're like like 29.
I guess it depends on how much effort they went to in the beginning to do that anyway, and like how much time, because sound is something that is a little more longevity than your visuals.
Yeah, but you still get Foley for movies. They barely reuse Foley. They do the Foley on the sound stage for that exact scene.
Yeah, but if it's a canned thing for gunfire, they don't always do Foley for gunfire. That.
Yeah, maybe, but like since this is a whole, I mean, it's been like 8 years and stuff, so it's like why reuse those assets? And again, 500. Like you spent so much money on this, you want to make sure this is your tech giant, your show off game.
Yeah,
you're gonna fucking do everything because you already doing Foley for everything else. It's not cheaper to not reload the other. When you did it for 20 other guns, you're like, not that one, fuck that one. It's like, oh, that 5 minutes is whatever. That's bullshit. That's my issue with it, and the fact that it can't live up to 2019 Modern Warfare. The gun mechanics, all of the stuff looks so much better in Call of Duty than does Halo. Which the reason why that's important is Halo is going to be competing with Call of Duty like some people will play campaign stuff. There was leaked stuff in the tech preview. I'm not even going to talk about that one because I don't fucking care. I do like Halo's story, so I didn't dive into it. But I also think it's been pretty weak since Bungie left. It's been like average, but like I'll still play it for that. But really, let's be honest. People play Halo now for it's the multiplayer. Like a lot of games, it's the multiplayer. And it's a multiplayer against each other that you're playing, the multiplayer against each other. So then it's going up directly against Call of Duty. And ironically enough, it's going up. They're talking about Modern Warfare. So they're not even talking about the latest Call of Duty. But 2019 is Modern Warfare. And I agree with it. Also, it's like pretty pathetic that like the Xbox fans should not be okay with this either. Because, like, if let's say this was Last of Us, which, again, does this perfectly. But let's say it didn't. Let's say it looked like this. I would be just as annoyed because it's like you want to feel like they really took the time. And it's not like it's the first thing I think of or even the 100th thing I would think of. But it just means they thought of every object that they placed in this map to play.
Yeah.
Like, this asset didn't just grow. Like, someone fucking put a fruit stand there. So if you're going to put a fruit stand there that is destructible, then it sure as shit better have some destructible physics that kind of align with those objects. Or else just don't put it there, and this is not a video. It's not a thing. No one knows about it. No one fucking cares. Right? It's like a weird futuristic market. It doesn't need these objects. But if you're going to put them in there, you fucking better make them operate like they do in the real world. And that's kind of how my thing is. Like, if it's fine if
you're going to borrow something, just borrow some physics of like some other.
Well, that's the thing. You have a physics engine that's rendering a ton of calculations of everything. You can't render. I mean, literally, the way it looks is like, it's like the splashing of it is like, you can see.
Yeah.
There's like 30 there. And it's just shot once, and it's like one splat of like.
Yeah.
That's like PS2, PS3 shit. Like
Exactly.
Xbox 360 shit, where it's like, yeah, we couldn't render that because we don't have the computing power for it.
I thought you were talking about like fruit on trees, and then I'm like,
No, it's a stand, like a market stand. So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like, just don't put the market stand. So it's like, but when you're doing that,
meanwhile, Battlefield's destructible environments,
right? And like, people are bitching about that. It's like, I guarantee you, if there's some fruit in Battlefield, they're gonna be like, I hope Battlefield has fruit in one map and retweets in the next 2 days them just shooting it, because that would be incredible. Because this is also going to be a competitor for that, because they're both coming out really close to each other within the same month, I think, unless it gets delayed again for fruit physics. But the point is, it has a physics engine. They're putting these objects in there. These are assets that live in the world, so they are 3D modeled assets. So have each one act as an independent asset, one not as a group, meaning if I shoot one, 30 don't fucking explode. Each one is treated as a singular object.
Yeah.
And just let it register with the physics engine. It's really not that hard. It could create some weird QA shit that you just have to do. And maybe this is like, hey, we just need the QA. Now, for benefit of the doubt, this is a tech preview. It's not coming out till November-ish.
Yeah.
So maybe it will be fixed. I guarantee, actually, if I was at Microsoft, I guarantee one of the developers team is like, well, now we got to fucking work on that. And that's definitely going to be someone's job.
Yep.
Is going to be
Jerry, you gotta fix the damn fruit.
Yep, they're definitely Jerry's fucked. For the next month, he's going to be living in banana and various fruit, apples and shit like that, watermelon, all that crap. So
I'm just also wondering what storyline Halo has that they're like in a spot with bananas on the back of a truck.
That's true. Well, I think it's like a big futuristic market that they're fighting in. And the map is like a big market.
And bananas are. Chiquita doesn't have a stronghold on one planet enough. They need to.
No, they need a bazaar.
Interdimensional.
Yeah, they need to have their interdimensional bazaar. I almost said Brazzer, but that was a different thing. But that kind of gets me to another thing. Is like, if you think about Grand Theft Auto 4, so the most recent one is Grand Theft Auto 5. But in Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5, like those games, Grand Theft Auto 4 I think is 2008. Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 5 is like 2011, 2012. Let me get that exact date just to kind of make my point of how stupid I think this is. 2013. So no game is still close to Grand Theft Auto 5. Granted, they patched the fuck out of it. But the physics in that, Red Dead Redemption, Last of Us, basically a Rockstar game, a Rockstar or a Naughty Dog game, there's nothing close to that level of physics. And that's really, do you need to do this in a game? Fix the fruit, think about this shit? No. But in like Grand Theft Auto, you shoot a car windshield, it doesn't actually shatter, it cracks, right? But then when you close the door, it shatters because it shakes. Well, guy gets in the car, he puts one leg in that. A girl gets in, she sits first and then swings in. And it's all this like crazy shit that's like, who would think of this?
It's just you're paying attention and you care.
That's what takes a game from this game is good or even really good to this game is remarkable. It is exceptional. And that's what your Grand Theft Auto 5 is. That's what your Last of It is. Basically, that's anything Rockstar or Naughty Dog does, which Naughty Dog is a PlayStation Sony exclusive. Rockstar is not. They used to be, but they're not anymore. So like I'm trying to do this to appeal to the wider audience. But they're not, and they really are the pinnacle. And a lot of people are like, who fucking cares? And it's like, it's not that it makes the game worse. It's just that it makes the game better. It makes you want to live in that world because you're constantly like, oh, what else can I do? What else can I do? Oh, who the fuck thought of that? And like Red Dead Redemption 2, horse's tail hits a tree branch full of snow. The snow like will come off those branches that shook, not all the branches. And if realistically, it's like, what the fuck? Like, who would have thought of that tiny thing? When you kill someone, they actually decay over time. In Grand Theft Auto 5, if you shoot someone in the chest, not only will the bullet hole make, but little blood will soak into the shirt over time as well. It's these tiny things that don't, like, unless you're looking for it, do not matter. But it brings you into that world. It's immersion, right? We love that word.
Immersion.
It brings that immersion that takes a game from good to exceptional, from great to remarkable. All right. And that's just kind of, I wish I had a third one because it felt like I was leading up to one, but I didn't. But that's kind of like
ordinary to extraordinary.
And that's what pissed me off about this, because like I saw someone commented, it was like a community, and this sounds there, but it was a community director for an indie game. Might not have been an indie game, might have been AAA. Either way, it was community director for one. And the person was like, well, I'm sorry, I think this is stupid. I care that our developers have lives. And I was like, that to me is the most frustrating fucking thing. I thank you for looking out. We care about crunch. But you know how also you still implement this is you release the game a couple weeks later because we're adding additional polish that makes it feel that we are like, hey, this is going to make the game. Our MVP is minimum viable product, but we don't want to deliver with that. We want to deliver something exceptional. Give us this extra month, this delay, not because it's broken, because we can improve it and polish it. Now, granted, you're always going to feel that way. But that's what frustrates the hell out of me. I have no problem spending extra hours if it's something that's taking it to like a remarkable standpoint, and I can be like, I did that. Because people will play it and be like, who the fuck thought of it? People will make YouTube videos. They get millions of views. They were like, Rockstar did that. Like, why would they do that? It's crazy. They're amazing. You want that. It's good for your PR. It's good for your team. And as a community director, you should fucking be thinking about that. Don't tell me you're looking out for the good of us.
Yeah.
The good of us is maybe listen for estimates, and we're like, hey, it's going to take an extra month. Do that. Give us that extra month. It doesn't mean we have to do crunch and do a 16-hour day to do it. Instead of doing, let's fit in this window, you expand the window, and all of a sudden we can fit in it, and you can still have a fucking life. I did that. Like I said in the last one, I've had 18-hour days. I've had 8-hour days. Honestly, sometimes when you're in the flow state, right, your head's down, you're locked in. You don't care because you're just living in it. You're just vibing, and it's awesome. You're vibing. So that to me like frustrates the fuck out of me, because it's like that's what takes a good game to make it exceptional, and that's the kind of laziness to me. And not everybody's going to feel this way. Everybody's going to have their own opinion about it and be like, that's great. It's like I work to live. I don't live to work. It's like I get that. But me, games are my life. So if I'm working on a game, it's not like, oh, I'm not having my own life. To me, it's like, this is my thing. And the better I can become of it, the greater like game I can make, the greater visual experience I can take people on, the better immersion, the better world I can create that I helped dream up or was a small part of. Because if it's a AAA game, you're a very tiny cog in the machine. It's an indie game. You might be the only cog or one of 5 cogs.
Yeah.
Right? And an indie game compared to a AAA. So, but even if I'm the cog in the AAA, that to me is my own thing. Because I'm going to go out and show all my friends that and be like, I fucking did this. I work my ass off. And I'm going to want to do. I would love to be the fruit guy on Halo. I fucking would. I would be Jerry. Right? I would be Jerry. Because like, then it's like, hey, man, I'm the guy who fixed that or made that. Be like, look, do this crazy fucking thing. And they're like, what? And they're like, who's gonna shoot that? Be like, did you check it out? And it's like, what the fuck? And it's like, oh, it does the trees falling off or the fruit falls in whatever. Yeah. If you shoot in one direction, the peel comes off and you can see the skin. Ooh. Like that'll be like, or you shoot near it, I guess, because technically be for abrasion because the bullet hits it. It doesn't matter. The point is, that's kind of fucking cool, and that's how I think. Again, it's opinion. Not every developer thinks the way I do.
Yeah,
but that's how I see it. So I also don't like that making community director be like, I care about our devs line. I was like, that's like fucking watching a movie and be like, well, the plot and the world are kind of shit, but like I'm glad the actors
craft
still
services was great.
Well, but then it's like I'm glad the actors have a life after the movie, and it's like I don't give a fuck about that. I'm paying to watch the movie, to watch Star Wars. I'm not like I'm glad they skipped out on a good plot so they can go and have a normal life and didn't have to do extra hours on the set.
Yeah.
That's the same thing you're saying. It's like I'm glad the devs, and it's like, okay, so you're just telling people who are paying $60 to $70 in the States. In Australia, it's $120. Right? In Europe, it's like $90 that are spending their hard-earned money for this. And you're like, yeah, well, I want them to have a life. These people life could be this game. Now, I'm making it into a bigger thing. It might not be, right? But some people are going to fall in love with this game. And to me, that kind of disenfranchises or like discounts the opinions of people who are your core base that really want to play this game.
Yeah.
And like want to be a part of it. So don't say, oh, well, we want them to have a life. It's like, yeah, you can fucking not have crunch and just properly estimate a timeline, and that still gives you the same fucking thing. They can wait an extra month, but when they get to play it, they're going to have all this crazy developed shit. And obviously, you also could just patch this in. So there's also things like that. So don't, like, I mean, look at fucking Rainbow Six Siege. You know what? Look at fucking No Man's Sky. That game was terrible, promised so much, and now you look at it, it's like the greatest comeback story in the history of video games.
Yeah.
It's one of the best games, period. It's incredible, and they've changed like 7 physics engines. I mean, they've redone their thing. Like, so you can do more and stuff, and you don't. But it's the time. They need to take time. Now they were okay releasing a shittier game and building it over time, and not everybody is. So don't just like discount that. It's like I get what you're saying, but like just be like, we'll patch. Could have just been like, well, we'll patch that in. We don't need to put it all in the first release. That would have been a better statement than I want them to have a life. It's like, great. When I watch a movie, I'm not paying to be like, thank God the actors have lives after this. I'm like, I want us to get in. I want to leave my fucking life for a couple hours, play this. I want to leave my life for 10 hours, play Halo, which probably hundreds of hours, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, don't fucking tell me you're like my $70 means nothing to you, because that's what that fucking means, and that pisses me off.
Yep.
So that I don't like. And granted, everybody has their own opinion, but the other people are wrong.
When I wrote Halo fruit on the board, I did not know we were going to go down
yeah, I feel like I went. There's a whole tangent, but like, it just pissed me off. And like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people will be like, that's stupid. I'm like, great, but like, this is my passion. So you can't, like, I can tell you firsthand that matters to me. And as someone who's also helps develop shit, I can also tell you I know what it's like in there. So it's not just like saying it like on the outside. I'm saying it inside, outside, left, right, up, down. I'm all around this bitch. I'm the circumference, motherfucker. And that's the goddamn answer. All right. Well, now let's talk about games that also do some crazy shit. Witcher.
Yeah. Witcher. If you do everything right and all your characters and world are fully fleshed out, then people are going to take notice. Maybe even some conservative or conservatory people. I
was like, some conservatives really jump on this, which is fine. But
conservationists, that's what I was looking for.
Gotcha. Well, so this is the wrong link, but they do have like a bunch of crazy, like they have several historic Polish trees that are named after Witcher characters now. That was not what the link I meant to send was. But that is interesting. So that will go on that. But the one thing I did want to note is the game in a previous article. So in Poland they named a bunch of historical trees after Witcher characters. Very cool, very fun. Like Cirilla, Regis, Trice, Vesemir, Yennefer, Geralt, all got cool trees. Great dandelion. Yeah, you're pushing it with that one.
I want to know if they're like Bowser's, like from I Love You Man, where they look like the ones they're named after.
Yeah. Like the guy who's like, he looks like the president of wherever. the dog. All right, so the one it was supposed to be is in Witcher. This guy played Witcher for over 600 hours. It's like 606 hours he played it.
So the first level?
Yeah. He's barely getting through the game. He's done it, and he found a quest he's never seen before, and it's a quest that's incredibly rare because it's not even marked on the map. And it's not really specific to the quest. It's just like it's this troll that's just like cooking a stew.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that this guy played this game for 600 hours, right? 600 fucking hours. And that's like fucking Salvo playing Animal Crossing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you're insane. Great, but insane. So like for that, and it's like, that's crazy. So this guy, but she knows everything in that game, I bet. And it's like, this guy played 600 hours. He's like, I've never seen it. He's like, I guess I never fully explored that area because it's not something that shows up on the map. People have seen it before, but it is a very rare quest. But nothing huge of note. But it's incredible. That's, to me, what's the joy of games and what matters, and kind of goes back to my previous comment of if you take care of the small things, even if it's like a little thing, people keep going back and living in this fucking world, they're going to find things they didn't even know were there before. Yeah. This guy played this for 600 hours. Think of anything you've done for 600 hours. You know it. And and it's like still finding stuff that surprises them.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, that's beautiful. That's like incredible thing in games. And also, I will say that CD Projekt Red is up there, but Cyberpunk kind of knocked him down a little bit with which when I was saying Naughty Dog and Red Dead. Or Naughty Dog and Rockstar. CD Projekt Red is up there because of Witcher 3 solely. But yeah, I mean, it's shit like that. That's like, it's kind of amazing. So and that's AAA game. That quest is probably some random guy's thing, or he had a list of 20 quests he put in. Yeah. Put that one in, and they didn't even show it on the map.
I'm trying to like do the math of 600 hours. That's like, if you play 5 hours a day.
Do you want to know how many days it is?
Well, yeah.
It's 25 days.
Yeah.
So this guy, a month of this dude's life, essentially.
Yeah, but if you play like 5 hours a day.
Oh, if you play 5 hours a day?
Every day.
Take like a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah, the guy put time in. Now, granted, the game's been out a while.
Yeah.
But still. Most of my games are up like 100, 200 hours I've done sporadically. Like Persona 5, I did like 102. Valorant, I probably have 150 hours of Valorant, which by the way, I'm silver 2. I keep getting shit. I can't get out of silver. It's impossible. I don't have a squad I do it with, so I'm like by myself just randomly jumping in games, and it can be incredibly toxic, or like I get lucky, or just the team sucks, and it's just like, oh, how did I get ranked with a Iron 1? I'm like, what the fuck is this? Anyways, that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I mean, so the point is these people, back to that community director thing, will live in these fucking worlds because someone's going to love it. And that little thing that, it could just go home, that's what matters, because that's someone put it, and that's not even it's not even a POI. It's not a point of interest on the map. And it's even rare online. Like, people don't know about a ton of that. There were clips about it, so people have played it before. But it's kind of stuff like that. It's like, that's pretty amazing. Always find something new. 600 hours in the game, still getting surprised by it. That's pretty fucking amazing to me. I mean, granted, they still support it and DLC it, but still, pretty amazing. So that's the Witcher thing I meant to talk about. But also, it's cool they named the trees in Poland after it, because it is such a big thing. And CD Projekt Red is a Polish developer, so that does make sense.
All right.
But yeah, that is a thing of niceness, I will say. Anyway, so that's a little gaming update, which I guess we're always doing gaming updates here. Sage, do you have anything? We're only 40 minutes in, so. But Sage he's a run around.
D&D.
Yeah, he's got that, which is
Dungeons and Dragons.
Actually, why don't you tell us a little bit about your Dungeons and Dragons game, and then I'm going to mention one other thing, and we'll jump into trivia.
All right, sounds good. I mean, we have one of our guys moving to Europe.
Well, let's pretend I know nothing about Dungeons and Dragons. What is D&D? Is that Stranger? Is that Stranger Things?
D&D role playing game. We have
like in the bedroom.
since gone from like actually playing on the table to playing online. We haven't got back to in person yet, but we're trying to transition to that.
Oh, I was gonna make a gender joke. I've transitioned from digital to reality.
Yeah, but one of our guys is moving, so we're trying to like wrap up our whole game. So, a lot of shit's happening.
What do you use online?
Roll20.
Roll20, which is?
It's just you can build maps. It's actually like a pretty damn powerful tool because
do you prefer it now than?
For certain things. I mean, when you're role playing, nothing's gonna get better than sitting across the table with people and like making faces and doing dumb shit.
Yeah, I do love that.
But for combat and like maps, it's like so easy for everyone to just be on the same page. You can
Does it have the whole world so you can be like I can physically see where I am to where I need to go?
It depends how much the DM really wants to like flesh everything out. Like sometimes there's like a real intricate, detailed play. So
it's almost like playing a video game in
exactly.
Sense.
Yeah. But yeah, then like you can kind of program stuff where like all your add-ons and spells and stuff like that kind of get automatically added to attacks and whatnot. So it's actually a really interesting way to play. And I think like best case scenario, almost some kind of like hybrid that you can just add everything that you need to while still playing in person would be cool. But then you don't get to roll the dice. So it's really a give and take.
Rolling a D20 does always feel good.
Yeah.
Especially when you get the 20, it's like the perfect shot. It's like the 1-1. You're like, oh yes.
Yeah.
It also is the same when you roll a 1. It's also just the critical roll and that just critical. You're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But okay, so it's a role playing game. You can inhabit the world, and basically your DM or dungeon master. Didn't they change the name of those?
Game master is like what they use sometimes. Yeah.
And basically, they're leading you through this journey. Think Lord of the Rings, but it also can literally be anything. I mean, there's Star Wars versions of this. There's like just normal like Second Life versions of this, and then there's just the actual Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, there's futuristic ones. There's Star Wars, other space ones. There's other.
How long have you been the campaign you're playing tonight? How long is this campaign game?
This is like 4 or 5 years.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Damn. So what's your character? What is Sage in this world?
Etor. I'm a Goliath.
Nice. It's a big boy.
Paladin. So I got a little bit of magic ability.
Okay.
Got my little misty step so I can like poof behind people, even though I'm like a
big poofer,
8-foot dude.
Okay.
I can, surprise. He's kind of on a quest to avenge his like village, and basically he was tracking down a dragon, caught it, was unable to kill it, so it was kind of like disgraced from the village, and they just went back, found it, ended it with the rest of the group, which was sweet. And
Dope.
like the whole main plot around everything is there's these like masks of power that someone found out how to combine, so they're like just amassing all this potential damage and power and whatnot. So we're just going in and trying to separate the masks from his being and take him out in the process.
That sounds fun as shit.
Yeah. No, I could definitely dive into it more. I'm a sleepy little boy today, so.
No, I figured since some that you do a lot, give the people like, because we are gaming, but it's not always video games. And D&D is definitely a game we both like. We had actually one where people were coming here. We played and you were like Smog or some shit like that. I forget. It was
Slorp.
Slorp, yeah. And that was just ridiculous. But yeah, and it's a game that I'm sure a lot of people like, and it was the basis of Stranger Things pretty much, and kind of the Demigorgon. A lot of people know.
Yeah,
it's all from that, but also a ton of other shit. A shitty movie with Marlon Wayans back in the day, and all that. So, anyways, let's get into some trivia before I get on the trivia. I'll just say we are going to do. Speaking of trivia, we are going to live host a video game trivia at Stable 12. We haven't picked a date yet, so keep posted on our socials. Follow the socials.
Hell yeah.
Glad You Game Pond on everything. For the date, to find out when it will be, we'll definitely try to post with a couple of days' notice, if not weeks' notice. Once we settle on a date, we're still talking about that. But it will be roughly 5 rounds, 10 questions a round. Some theme song drops, some questions, maybe some pitch around. So all that's a Stable 12 in Phoenixville, PA is where I'll be. And like I said, we'll do it live. It'll be fun. We'll have some drinks together and stuff, and we're
bunch of Super Mash Brothers.
Yes, there we go. They have their Super Mash Brothers beer, so we'll probably drink a couple of those. I'll have my DD with me, and yeah, so it'll be fun. So hopefully we'll do it once, and if we don't suck, maybe a second time. So yeah, just keep on the lookout for that. Like I said, we'll post on the socials. But yeah, it'll be Stable 12 in Phoenixville. Pretty excited for it, and if you can, come on down. So just keep a lookout for that on the socials. Have some drinks, talk some games, and win some prizes. We'll probably bring some Funko Pops and stuff that day for people to win, and some cool shit like that. So it'll be a good time. And they have incredible beer there, so enjoy that as well. All right, let's get into this week's trivia. But it'll be trivia.
I was going to do a lot of like Olympic medal stuff. But then I realized that this is going to come out on Monday, so all of it's going to be out of date then.
Yeah.
So I don't have any trivia today.
Okay, I do.
All right.
How many editions in term that are actually classically said edition are there of D&D?
Like numbers?
Numbers.
Then 5. But there's like Pathfinder and all those like offshoots and stuff.
Yeah, I'm talking about just OG.
5 of them.
There is 5 quote unquote editions, but how many versions are there?
Oh God.
So you're correct. The first one you're correct. Official version, I should say.
I want to say like 20.
I have to count. Hold on.
Yeah, there's like kids ones. There's like ones that.
Oh, it's 10. But
all right.
So it's 10. Who designed Dungeons
Gary
and Dragons?
Gygax.
And
I forget.
everybody always forgets the second guy.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Gary Gygax, I think, because the guy's last name.
It helps.
It's Dave Arneson.
Dave
is
Arneson.
the other one.
Word.
When did the first publication of D&D come out?
67.
1974.
Yeah.
When did, because you play, I'm assuming you play 5th edition?
5e, yeah, boy.
5e. When did 5e come out?
I'm going to say like 07.
2014.
Okay. Word. All right.
There was the original basic set first version, advanced D&D, basic set second version, basic set third version, advanced D&D second edition. Rules are going to be a third edition. Notice how they dropped advanced D&D.
Yep.
So advanced D&D second edition just became third edition. Then there's 3.5, which if you're including that in the editions, you would have been wrong because it would have been 6, but because still it's technically a part of the third edition. Fourth edition came out in 08, and 2014 the fifth edition.
Nice.
So I thought, and we'll just end it because it's kind of fun trivia. Who published Dungeons and Dragons? It's had 2 publishers.
I believe it's Wizards of the Coast.
That is the second publisher. The original publisher.
Scholastic.
It's TSR Incorporated. Which I didn't know. I knew you wouldn't do it. Gygax co-founded it. It's Tactical Studies Rules.
There we go. Yep.
Very cool.
Because I think he had a game before D&D that was, like actually meant for like tactical training kind of thing, crossed over with like, war games and chess and all that stuff.
He may have, but we're not talking about that today.
There's a lot of lore.
So much lore. No, he did develop war games back in the day for the International Federation of Wargamers. Fun.
Pew pew.
Fun fact on that. Castle and the Castle and Crusade Society. Anyways, TSR basically folded in 97 when they sold. Basically, it was acquired and discontinued by Wizards of the Coast. So pretty cool. All right, well that was trivia for that.
Hell yeah.
Check out Roll20. The accounts you can make a free account. I think you can also pay for like additional stuff in the marketplace.
Yeah,
but,
and then D&D Beyond's like a fun one if you want to create characters and all that. Roll20 is more playing it digitally.
The board, yeah.
Yep.
So they do D&D, Pathfinder, Call of Cthulhu, Fate, burn, kids on bikes. Fuck that. 13. Oh, Fiasco. Fiasco is so much fun. I haven't played that in a long time. I'd love. It's basically a 2-hour D&D that you have to make get chaotic, and it's like every roll. Basically, you get like so many good rolls and bad rolls, and if you get one or the other, then you have to do only bad choices at the end or only good choices.
Nice.
And it like decides your fate, and it just goes off the rails. It's fun, and they're always 2 to 3 hours, and that's the whole game.
Nice.
So,
oh yeah,
pretty cool. All right, well, thanks everyone. Play Game BM, and remember, Stable 12. We're gonna do it. We'll let you know. Follow on the socials, and thanks for gaming. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Later. Goodbye, people.